Hello and welcome to this Dragon Marine Systems video. Today and in the next video we're going to take you through the process of replacing a standard Volvo Penta instrument panel that has worn out for a brand new Dragon Marine Systems panel, and looking at the complete replacement of the wiring loom and fitting the whole thing to the engine. So we have lots to cover and it will take more than one video to do this. Please bear with us. So here is our standard Volvo Penta panel, and what we're going to do is exchange this for a Dragon Marine Systems panel that is A, much bigger, and B, has got far more functionality. We're adding also a brand new instrument panel wiring harness. This is the old Volvo wiring and the standard round Volvo plug, which we'll be discarding entirely. So on this new installation, both the panel and the wiring harness will be replaced completely. We are discarding entirely the old Volvo Penta wiring harness and panel. They will no longer be required. The first thing to think about is the additional functionality that we are putting into the panel. So the old Volvo Penta panel simply had a tachometer and the warning lights. The new Dragon panel has the tachometer, engine temperature, voltage gauge, oil pressure and the warning lights. So obviously there will be more wiring required in the new panel. The tachometer has the engine hours built into it, as the old one did, and we've used a 4000 RPM tachometer as was original. The oil pressure gauge that we've chosen is a 10 bar one, and the addition of the gauge will require extra wiring. We've chosen also to put an engine temperature gauge in there. Obviously one of the most useful functions of the new panel. In the old panel we only had a warning light when we were actually overheating. The voltage gauge, which will tell us whether the engine is charging correctly or not. As you can see, this one is reading 14 volts, so the engine is running at the moment and providing a charge. We will also be replicating the functionality of the oil pressure light, the water temperature light and the charge light. We have a new ignition switch, which will give us off, ignition on, heat and start. Both the heat and start are on spring. Because we have new wiring in the system, what we are going to do is replace the entire wiring harness. This wiring harness, as you can see at the end, has the required fuses and relays, and the gauge and the panel and the wiring harness have a multi-plug. This is supplied, of course, with a wiring diagram, so that if any intervention is required in the future, you have the wiring diagram which shows the pin positions and all of the wires, what they do and the wiring colours. We always use a different colour for each wire. So your first task will be to remove the old panel. Remove it entirely, including the engine wiring, and we're going to replace that with the new panel the wiring harness will replace the engine wiring and run up to the panel. Thank you for watching this video.